Hello, hello, hello. Marubaru here, and I want to make a series of tutorials, basically showing how to, um, you know, a few things about a few things about War Thunder. Specifically, I'm gonna make the tutorials and show them in arcade battles, and I'm actually not using pre-recorded footage or whatever. I'll just go into this game. Um, we are going to pick. Doesn't really matter. Let's say LA5. It's it's a great plane. Um, got bombs. I'm gonna drop the bombs. Now, this first tutorial is going to be on situational awareness. And what we're going to do is we are going to um, we're going to not kill anybody this game, and we're just going to fly around. Now, first thing you want to do in a game is know what's going on, and this is a domination, so we have to take those uh, airfields. So what usually happens is there's three airfields and and so on and so forth. Now, what usually happens is this, on one side is our airfield, on the other side is their airfield, and then the middle airfield is usually where most of the fighting happens. You can look into the map and see that stuff. Now, it's very important to note that um, it's very important to note that in ground attack stuff, basically what's going to happen is you're going to have all you have to do is just look and see where most of the ground targets are on your team, and that's where the bad guys are going to usually be, and so on and so forth. So, what is this tutorial about? It is about basically it is about situational awareness, and the idea is we want to fly to people and fight people, but we're not gonna shoot a single thing, and we want to survive this game. A lot of people will ask, how do you get somebody off your tail? And the answer is you can't. Most of the time, if they know what they're doing, you can't. But here's this guy, for instance. This guy, I could have killed him basically. See, and he dies. But I'm not going to kill him because, like I said. But that was the thing. We saw this IL-2 long time ago, and he was alone up in the air dealing with that Wellington. Uh, so we're not going to kill him, but this is how you want to basically do things. Now I'm going to turn around because you also need to be aware most of the time where is their spawn point. And we were going over to their spawn point, which is around this part of the screen. So, but they're spawning, a couple miles under us. But see, there is an IS-16. Now, for instance, if we were playing, a normal game, that's what we would have done. We would have turned around and we would have went for for that IS-16. But this is actually a good thing. So I basically go in, and I could have killed him right here. But again, we're not going to kill him. And then we're gonna zoom out. Now zooming out is not usually necessarily go straight up or whatever. You can go over an angle and then, just do it. And now we could have killed that guy, and then, we'll make another turn, and then it's the BF-110. See, he will be alone right now, and he's going for that IL-2 that we forgave. There's a do 217, which we could have killed. So this is actually another thing. So we need to have situational awareness and know who's doing what. Where is this do 217 going? So we're gonna look, and we're gonna look and see that he's going towards there, because we've got a bunch of, if you see on the map, we've got a bunch of stuff over there. So the dude is trying to bomb them. See where our under the clouds over there? That's what he's trying to do. So we always need to know who's going where, why, and what's up. And now, for instance, we fly up and we see this we see an LA5 after our Wellington, which is also something, Let's see, he's alone. There's another yak. The yak is about, a little bit lower than him. But the yak is by himself. But now what's going to happen is if I attack the yak, see, what would have happened if I attacked the yak and those, so again, you gotta keep in mind where they spawn, because if I attack the yak, those guys spawned over there and they would have just killed me. But let's say we look at them and we're like, we don't want to, we don't want to deal with those guys because they will own me. So, but I can go, I'm going to drop my bombs because I'm not interested in them. And I can make a run and see, for instance, this guy, he's dead. And then just go up. This guy, he's dead. Basically, I could have killed him. And that's how it is. And then we basically zoom out. And remember, the LA5 is not even a good zoomer. It has a very good acceleration, and it can climb pretty well for arcade. But it's a terrible zoomer. But it has good weapons and things like that. So now after we get a little bit of separation, so we see the I-153 and the lags. There's a bunch of lags and so on and so forth. They're winning now. So what happens when they're winning? Now we see another do. See, this is probably a good target for us. Like if we want to go and get a kill. If we go down there, we're probably gonna get killed. Why is that? Because all those guys that coming from spawn, they're moving with a very high rate of speed. They're mostly with like 400, 450, maybe even 500 kilometers an hour. So if I would go, if I boom there, what happens, and this is what a lot of people are wondering, and they go, oh, but what really happens? So now we can actually go for this guy, usually. But now there's an Yak-7 and a P-39, but the Yak-7 is flying in a different direction, so we can actually go. La 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 la. This guy's gonna try to land. Boom, boom, boom. We would have killed him if he didn't get killed. And then there is a lag that's coming down. We could have probably killed him as well. and but we're not gonna kill him. And then we zoom out. Now it's very important that you don't turn. If you turn, you're gonna lose too much speed, and your zoom is gonna be worthless, and then people will catch up. But now, if so, anyway, going back to if why didn't we go in the clusterfuck over there? So the problem is those guys that come in from their spawn, they're already with 400 or 500 kilometers an hour. Now, uh, what happens is our max speed is 600 and something kilometers. I'm not sure, but I'll give you an example before the game ends. Like if I go straight down, and the game is gonna end, but I'll show you. We are getting a lot. Like basically, see our speed dies really fast, and so what I'm trying to say is we can only go about 200 kilometers, maybe even 150 kilometers more than than the bad guys, right? So if they're going with 500 and our max speed is like 700, which it was going straight down, and even if we had if we had more a higher altitude, we would have not went over 750, okay? Because our max speed is 600, so we would basically in arcade our max speed really, like, regardless of the altitude we're going down from, it's about 750 kilometers an hour at best. But this is just going straight down without applying any amount of pressure and things like that. So the idea is if we apply some pressure, we want to move our aim a little bit and this and that, and we don't go straight down, but we go a little bit in an angle, we're not even going to get 700. We're most probably going to get to like 650, right? So, and at 650 with this plane, and pretty much every plane, our aim becomes super bad. And not only that our plane becomes super bad, but because of the physics of how your bullets travel, they take from your speed and things like that. So you get, it messes up your aim a lot. So the point is, if those guys are with 450 or 500, and you're with 600, 650, 100 or 150 kilometers difference in speed in arcade does not really make a huge difference. In realistic battles, it will make some difference, but it's not that much. I'll tell you why. If you end up in front of that other guy and you're only with 150 kilometers over him in speed, and you end up in front of that guy at, say, 400 meters, right? 150 kilometers, there's 1,000 meters per kilometer. We divide it by 60, and then we divide it by 60. So 60 minutes, 60 seconds. So you will be able to gain on the guy 41 meters, 42 meters. I'm gonna be large. I'll say 45 meters even. You'll be able to gain on the guy 45 meters. So if he can shoot at you, and you're at 400 meters distance from him, and he can shoot at you, he literally, and let's say you're out of his range at 800 meters, but he can shoot even from a farther distance, especially in realistic. Uh, uh, he literally has 8 seconds to shoot at you. In 8 seconds, it's plenty of time to crit you or even to kill you. So what's happening is, a lot of people are like, well, why did I get killed? You got killed because you looked at the guy and he might have not had the altitude, but he was at a very high speed. And so when you boomed and you zoomed, he was able to keep you in range for like 8 seconds, or even 4 seconds is plenty of time. But again, this is like if you do your boom and zoom very well. Now, if the guy is with 250 kilometers, which is when you should be booming and zooming him. Now, if the guy is with 200 and you're with 600, that is 400 kilometers. 400 kilometers by 1,000 divided by 60 divided by 60 means 111 meters. So, even if you do happen to be at 400 meters at some point, you will be out of his range in 3 seconds instead of 8. So, that is a hell of a difference. And, another, and he would never be able to, basically gain enough, because, like, you also have the point where he actually loses the speed, right? So if you both start going up, and he's with 500 and you're with 650, basically you're gonna stall at, let's say you both are gonna stall at 100 kilometers an hour. Now, he can basically follow you for quite a while, and you lose more speed in the beginning rather than at the end. So, and if his plane is a better zoomer, so if he's with 500, but let's say he's in a P49 and you're in the LA5, chances are he would climb more with 500 kilometers per hour than you would climb with 650 kilometers an hour, especially in arcade. But it's very true in realistic battles. So, it's very important to understand this stuff. You have to gauge the energy state of the bad guy, because if you do not, you will fail your boom and zooms, and this is what a lot of people say. They're complaining in the forums or just complaining in general, because they say, well, I'm booming and zooming, and I was 2,000 meters over this guy, I boom, I failed to kill him, and then he starts climbing after me and he kills me. Because the funny thing is, sometimes you might end up, if you are at 2,000 meters over the guy, and you're with 250 kilometers an hour, which is also another thing, but I will talk about it later. If he's with 200 kilometers an hour, 2,000 meters under you, and you're only with 250, and he's with 500, and you boom, and let's say you're with the LA5, which is not gonna go to 700 kilometers and 2,000 meters. It's gonna go up to like 550. So what actually happens is you get to the guy and you have the same exact speed. And now, if this guy is a better zoomer than you, and you start zooming, and you're anywhere under 1 kilometer from him, he would probably be able to gain on you. And most planes are better zoomers than an LA5 and Russian planes in general. But even if they were not, unless you are with a dedicated boom and zoomer like the P-47, like the Mustang, and most American planes for that matter, or Typhoon or Tempest, or things like that. Unless you're in one of those planes, you're in trouble. And arcade skews up, it skews up the way that booming and zooming works, because planes are, physics are altered, and plane characteristics are altered in such ways that um, things like engine power have a lot more say in zooming in arcade than they do in realistic battles, because your planes can accelerate faster, and all planes can accelerate faster in arcade and have better boom zoom, and I mean have a better engine power, giving a few extra kilometers per hour and things like that. So, but the first thing about booming and zooming, before all those things, is you have to be very, 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 very aware of what's going on. You gotta be aware of where people spawn. You have to be aware of, what their speed is, and I've explained why. Because if you're not aware, or if you might miscalculate their speed, you will probably die. And the whole point of situational awareness is not to get people on your tail ever. If you have perfect situational awareness and you have perfect restraint, you will never get anybody on your tail. Now, of course, a lot of times you might need to, take some risks, especially in arcade where, you have to take that airport, or you have to defend that airport, and you see somebody is taking the airfield, and you're like, I have to kill that guy, but you see a Spitfire or a FW-190 behind him, so you know that if you go down, you're gonna kill the guy that's taking the airport, but then the other aircraft will kill you. But that's fine, Basically, I get killed in this game, but when I get killed, I know I'm gonna get killed sometimes minutes before I actually get killed. I mean, I know exactly who's gonna kill me and how they're gonna kill me. And I still get killed because sometimes I do a calculation. I see 3 guys that I can kill, but if I do kill those 3 guys, I know that the 4th guy that I see 4 kilometers away will actually kill me. And so, but you can die knowing, making this kind of calls is okay, because you get 4 kills, for instance, or 3 kills for 1 kill, or you kill the guy that you really want to kill, because sometimes you go into a game and there's somebody you hate, and you're like, I really want to kill that guy, and I don't care if I die in the process. So, Uh, but this is the real bottom line. You know, situational awareness is knowing when you're gonna die. It's knowing how fast all the planes on the battlefield fly, knowing who's where, and knowing who's gonna be where in a minute, in 2 minutes, in 3 minutes. You know, um, and also knowing where the spawn point is, so where planes can, magically basically appear and come for you. And then choosing a target that is alone or preoccupied, or a target that's not gonna put you in the crosshairs of another guy that's coming in. And sometimes, again, one of the most important skills for this is restraint, because sometimes you're gonna see this guy and he's just dead. Like, you just go down a couple thousand meters and he's dead, but then you see the Falcon Wolf coming in, and the Falcon Wolf will be with about the same speed as you, even though the Falcon Wolf is 2,000 meters under you. He will be with the same speed basically as you, because they retain energy very well and things like that. And the guy spawned at 3,000 meters, and now you see him in 1,000 meters. So obviously he's at 500 kilometers an hour. So you know that if I go down and I kill that guy, and that will put me in range of the Falcon Wolf, we're gonna be the same speed. I'm gonna die. He zooms better than me. So there will be absolutely, and his weapons are very unforgiving, so there will be absolutely nothing I can do. So that's why restraint. Another very important part where you need restraint for is when you see three fighters, like we saw in the game a couple of times. You see three fighters, all of them are going one after another. Now, if you go for the first one, the second one will get you. If you go for the second one, the third one will get you. But the third one is at 4 kilometers, the second one is at 2 kilometers, and the third one is at 1 kilometer. So, what you want to do is, you want to go at the guy that's 4 kilometers away, but it's so much easier to go to the guy that's 1 kilometer under you, right? So, it's really something that you need to have restraint and patience for. And but after a little bit of practice, you'll be surprised of how much better for you this whole thing is. Mm. If you do it this way. So I hope this helped you guys. There's a lot of other things that you know, but this is a good first step. Um, you know, uh, Another good advice I can actually give on this subject is knowing what the other planes are. Knowing what they can do and what they can do. Uh, you know, Try to at least know their max speeds most of the time, uh, both upgraded and not upgraded. Try to know how fast they can turn, and the other step, which you cannot find from the stat cards, and the stat cards are not all that important, but the other step that you can find from the forums and places like that is how fast they accelerate, because there are some planes that accelerate really well, and also how much they weigh, because a plane that accelerates really well will catch up to you if you're on a plane, if you're trying to run away, uh, you know, going straight, and he's just coming straight after you. He'll catch up if he's got better acceleration than you. And the weight will determine whether you can zoom or, basically zoom climb from him. If he weighs more than you, and you're with a high speed, like 500 kilometers an hour, and his plane is heavier, he will be probably able to climb better than you, zoom climb better than you. And same goes, if he's heavier, he'll be able to boom better than you, so you won't be able to run away by pointing your nose downwards. And this, while true for arcade, becomes extremely true for realistic battles or historical battles, what it used to be called. So, you know, max speed and turn rate you can get from the stat cards, and rate of climb is not something you care about in zoom climbing. Rate of climb is sustained rate of climb that uses your engine. So how fast you can climb if you point your nose at an angle where you keep a constant speed. And those rate of climbs are not that you know precise. I would say for a lot of planes that they're very imprecise, and rate of climb is very dependent on your on your altitude. But anyway, you know, you can find speed, acceleration, and weight from forums. You know, you can ask around for specific planes, and yeah, and this way you can become even more precise about the energy state or how fast a plane is going with. And remember that altitude is not everything, you know. But yeah, this is situational awareness, basically knowing the planes, knowing where they spawn, keeping track of them, and you know, best guessing where they will be in a minute or 2 minutes, and exercising restraint. And yeah, that's about it. And let me know in the comments below if you've got any